Hi everybody, welcome to another Divorce Workshop Live. Today we're going to be talking with Joette Fielding, who's an experienced realtor and broker with ReMax, which is a really important discussion. So I've just invited Joette Fielding on. And good afternoon, Joette
Good
Fielding. How are you?
afternoon. I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Good. I was just saying that this is a really important topic we're going to talk about. But before we do, can you give everyone a brief little introduction about yourself?
Absolutely. My name's Joette Fielding, and I'm a real estate agent and broker with ReMax About Town, and have been in the business for 24 years,
Yeah.
selling real estate and working with many families who are unfortunately going through separation and divorce. And I work with them all with empathy and compassion and fairness to both parties.
Which is really important.
It is.
Um, we know that the house for most people is the biggest asset there is. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and so that's why it's such a concern when they decide to separate or get divorced. So I've heard it from clients, and I've heard it from others as well. So you want to talk about a bit about why it is so hard?
It's it's difficult because a lot of people don't understand what their rights are in terms of their matrimonial assets. So, in addition to it being the matrimonial home, even if both parties aren't on title, it is a 50-50 equalization. And as part of the matrimonial property and assets, it could be a cottage as well. It could be a property in Mexico. It could be a ski chalet. All of that comes into play in the equalization.
Mm. Yeah, so there's a much bigger picture and worry when it comes to all that, right?
Yes, and that's where a realtor comes into
Hmm.
play in evaluating the value of the matrimonial home. And then if an offshore property has to be appraised, we also have realtors that we work with worldwide. And or Collingwood property, I can always refer. And it's important to get those appraisals. And sometimes the family law lawyer or mediator will want a realtor appraisal and a bank appraisal.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
all of that comes into play.
yeah, you had mentioned that because of your so many years of experience, you have people that can help you all over the world that can help with this type of stuff.
I do. And the stats for divorces are
Mm.
outstanding. 55,000 a year in Canada and roughly 670,000 in the US per year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. But I work with a lot of divorce lawyers. Um, the courts will appoint me at times, and it's really important for both parties to feel the trust and know that they're in the best hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important, especially when they're going through a divorce, right? They could be feeling uncertain about a lot of things. And and as I said at the beginning, they worry about that big asset of theirs. So how do
Which
you,
is so important.
yeah, how do you help them in your experience, help these divorcing people?
Well, it depends on the situation, and everyone is different. If they're both in the home, we generally will have a meeting all together, but and go through the values and what I'll do to sell the property and marketing and all that good stuff. But if they aren't together in the home, I meet with them both separately and go over everything together so that we're all on the same page and all in agreement. And I always encourage them to then take that to their family lawyer or mediator, because I work very closely with them as well. So
Oh,
it's a really collaborative process.
yeah, and I would expect there's going to be a lot of communication going on between you, them, and the
Always.
mediator and the lawyer. Yeah.
Yes. And the communication is key because it's important that everybody is involved and is on the same email trail, and I ensure that everybody is in the loop together.
Yeah, that's really important, right? Like divorce is hard. You need to work through this though, because as we said beginning, this is the biggest asset and you want the best for them.
Absolutely. My goal is to get top dollar for the sale of the home because
Yeah.
it is their most important asset. Now, common law is
Mm,
quite different. In common law, it you really don't have the same matrimonial rights because there hasn't been a marriage. So in that case, there isn't an equalization process. It is who's ever on title owns the home.
mhm.
So there isn't the same process.
Right. I'm not sure many people are aware of that.
No, many aren't.
Mhm, mhm,
But it's always a good question to ask your lawyer or reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer questions at any time as well.
mhm. So, along with communication, is there any other, like, are there unique, different challenges at all that you know? If they have good communication, is there anything else?
Well, there's always a difference of opinion, and it's my job in that situation to keep the communication flowing and make sure that both parties are happy with the process. And it should be seamless. I really haven't had many difficulties. Um, as I said, I have to meet both parties separately at times,
Mhm,
which
mhm,
is just fine. But the other thing that I tend to do when listing a matrimonial home is, first of all, it's never disclosed that there is a separation or divorce. And in addition to that, we we communicate very closely about how we're going to do this. And I usually do what I call a 48-hour irrevocable, which means when we receive an offer, I the parties have 48 hours in order for us to respond. And this gives both parties time to speak to their family lawyer. I speak to the family lawyer as well. And then we come to a decision.
I didn't know that. That's so you have a bit more time. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah. That I think that's really a good point.
it is. It's not a rush because it's a big
Mhm.
decision, and it allows everybody to communicate with the parties they wish to communicate with to make a decision.
Yeah, which helps them, even if they have to talk to their lawyer or the mediator, it can be done within at least 48 hours.
Absolutely.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's a really good point.
And I'm a really good negotiator.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking, it's almost like you're kind of especially if you have couples that are kind of more challenged or difficulties with talking to each other, that you're kind of going in there and talking to them both, and it's kind of like you're a little bit of a negotiator slash mediator for the real estate,
I,
right?
I am. I am. And I enjoy it. And I feel it's important that both parties are at
Mm.
ease and feel comfortable in this difficult situation.
Yeah, especially when they're going through such a stressful time.
Yes.
Mhm. So is there anything that we've missed that you
Well, I think there's three paths to consider
Mhm.
um, in this situation. One is, are you going to sell the matrimonial home? Another is, are you going to keep the home and one partner buys out the other partner, or co-own it temporarily, depending on the situation with the children, because the courts do take the wellness of the child into or children into consideration and what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
So each situation is very unique.
Yeah, so you'd say you can't paint one brush with every stroke. Like it's all different for everybody.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And typically, most divorces happen between, or separations between January and March. And the spring market tends to be the busiest. And so I see that most homes will come on the market in March, April. And if they have a 60 or 90-day closing, that allows the children to finish school where they are without any disruption.
Yeah, which is
That's
important for
key.
the kids. Yeah,
That's really key.
yeah, that's a good point. Um, is there any other tips that you have?
I would say trust is really important.
Mm,
So reaching out to an experienced realtor, an experienced family lawyer or mediator, or counselor that can assist in this difficult situation is really key, because it makes it go a lot smoother.
yeah, and remember that we all know the house is, it's not just financial, it's emotional,
It's
right?
very
Yeah,
emotional.
and I'm sure you've seen that.
Yes. And it's a difficult process for both parties and for the children
Hmm.
involved.
So that's probably where you're very good at that as well. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
because there is that emotion component
Yes.
that we all have with houses, right? For, you know, especially if you brought your children home there, memories are there. And then, so that's why it's such a delicate thing to do, to handle.
It is. It certainly is. I'm just going to look at my
Hmm.
notes and just see if there was any other key points I wanted to mention. Um, when talking about children again,
Hmm.
and part of the separation, um, what's really important and what a family lawyer will look into and take consideration for is the living arrangements, their stability and security, custody and access agreements as well. And all of this will come into play. And I'm very sensitive and compassionate with all of these situations.
Hmm. So you look at the whole picture too.
I do. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just the sale of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been a big part of my business over the last 24 years. Um, Unfortunately for people going through this, but I can certainly sympathize and be compassionate, as I've also gone through it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what they're going through.
If anyone have any questions, just put them in the comment. One of the things I really liked what you said today was trust,
Trust is
because
so
it's
important.
huge. And especially with this, as I said, it's the biggest asset. We've said it 4 times already, but
Yes,
trust that you're going to do the best you can. You're going to get the best for them, that they're in good hands, because they have so
absolutely.
many other things going at them, as well as the packing. And I'm sure you help them with that and refer movers and all that.
We
Um,
have so many trades to help prepare the home,
mhm.
declutter if necessary, painters, handymen. Um, we also stage the home complimentary. So we take a lot of the weight
Yeah.
away so that it's not so overwhelming.
Mhm. Which is really helpful because it's such a stressful time.
That's correct. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. If is there anyone who have a comment? Otherwise, any other tips? Anything else you want to finish off with?
I think it's important to, as I stressed earlier, always speak with your family lawyer
Mm-hmm.
because that's an important decision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can always assist with giving evaluation and support and the sale of the home, but really the family lawyer also has to be in the loop with all of this.
Mm, good point. Just as much as you communicate with them, just make sure that the divorcing couple are communicating with their lawyer or their mediator, whatever's going on. So you,
Exactly. And I often communicate with them as well.
oh, you do as well. Okay.
Yes, yes. Most often they'll reach out to me. I will also send them my evaluation, the comparables, so that everybody's comfortable and in the loop.
Yeah, I think that's important. I love the team approach.
Yes, the collaboration is
Mm-hmm.
key.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't want to speak with each other, I will take care of that um, with the communication to all parties.
Mm-hmm. We have a question. What happens if your ex is high conflict and disagrees with everything?
Uh, well, I've been doing this for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good question. But I like to think that I eventually have them on the same page
Mm-hmm.
because eventually the court will order the sale of the home.
Mm,
So collaboration really is key. I hope
yeah.
this helps, but I think once I establish trust with a high conflict partner or spouse, um, they come to terms with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think as you said, like if they don't come to terms with it, if they get pushed into going to court, a judge is going to decide for them.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as I said before, many occasions I have divorce lawyers who appoint me
Mm,
um, as the selling agent for the house.
yeah. So it's really important to note that you know how to handle these type of divorces because they do come up, right? Like they do come up sometimes.
Yes, and a lot are high
Mm.
conflict.
Yeah, that's why they're getting a divorce, right?
Right.
Like, or they're just conflict, right? So,
So my
um,
job is just to communicate, explain, establish trust, reliability with empathy and compassion to all
mhm,
parties because I don't work for one or the other. I work for both. And that's really key.
yeah. And I think as long as both know that you're working for both, but you're trying the best for both and to help them move forward, right?
Yeah.
Because if they decide to sell the house, there's a grief in there, but also helping them realizing that, we're moving forward and you may help them find something else, correct?
Oh, I always do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about that stress too, because based on what the division of assets is, they will know from their lawyer what they will, or a mortgage broker, what they will have to
Mm-hmm.
spend. And then I work accordingly with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that comfort level that we find a home. They're not homeless. They know where their children will be going to school in the new year. So it's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm. It's great. This was really informative because I think people really need to know, right, that it's a collaborative thing. Get the right
Yes.
realtor. If you get the right realtor, you're going to get the right team, especially someone with your qualifications. So if you don't live in Ontario, but you live outside, make sure you get the right realtor who has the experience, who has the resources to connect you with others, or
Well, I
um,
work with realtors across Canada and
oh,
worldwide.
there
So
you go.
I can refer to a top agent anywhere, knowing that the client will be put in excellent hands as well.
Oh, that's good to know. So where do they get in touch with you if you want to like give your web page and etc.?
Yes, they can. Well, my email is Joette at joettefielding.com. I can receive a phone call or text at 289-242-6640. And my website is joettefielding.com.
It's
And I
great.
welcome any questions without any obligation.
Yeah, and I think it's important if you're going through it, if you're thinking about even if you're thinking about divorce, or you're in the
Yes.
process of divorce, and the house is going to go be sold, or you need evaluations, like you said, then it would be best to give you a text or a call or an email,
And that
and know that you're
is all complimentary.
yeah, good. Well, it was wonderful to have you on. It's one of those big questions about the house, right? And I hope to have you back on another time. It'd be great.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And down the line, I'd be happy to bring on a real estate lawyer
Mhm.
as well. And
Oh, yes, we'd love that.
and we can have further discussion about the home and rights and things of that nature.
Yeah,
But
it'd be
I
great.
really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you,
And,
Joette.
and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.
And take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.